Be me, 27, finally done with the bullshit. After 3 years of dating guys who couldn't text back, had commitment issues, or turned out to have girlfriends, I decided to be smart about it. No more bad boys, no more potential. I wanted someone stable, emotionally available, actually ready for a relationship. Enter Jake, 29, IT consultant, decent job, owned his car outright. His Hinge profile was refreshingly normal. No shirtless gym pics, no fish. Just him at his brother's wedding, looking slightly uncomfortable in a suit. His bio was thoughtful. Green flags I look for. Actually communicates, doesn't play games, knows what she wants. Perfect. Our first date was at a coffee shop in Fremont. He showed up early, which I noted. Opened doors without making it weird. Asked actual questions about my non-profit work, my podcast, what I was reading. When I mentioned I was into social justice, he nodded and said his sister was super involved in local activism. He didn't perform wokeness, but he wasn't ignorant either. He paid, didn't make a thing of it. I had a really nice time, he said at my car. Can I see you again? I said yes. The next 3 months were honestly great. Jake planned actual dates, farmer's market, museum, cooking dinner at his place. He remembered my coffee order, oat milk latte, extra shot. Texted consistently, but not clingy. Introduced me to his friends early. Marcus, this loud construction guy who told terrible jokes, and Dev, a quieter software engineer who was recently married. One night, lying in his bed after sex, he told me about his exes. Amy cheated on me with a mutual friend, he said, staring at the ceiling. That one messed me up for a while. And Vanessa, she was just really mean, honestly. My friends hated her. She'd call me stupid in front of people, that kind of thing. I touched his arm. That's awful. You didn't deserve that. Yeah, well, made me cautious, you know? Not sure if the problem is me, or maybe I'm not meant to date women, ha ha. Anyways, I'm trying not to bring that baggage here. I thought, this is good. He's been humbled. He'll appreciate someone who actually treats him well. We moved in together after 8 months. His lease was up, mine was rent-controlled. It made sense. He paid half of everything without complaint, bought groceries without being asked, did his own laundry. But I started noticing things. His friends, for one, Marcus especially, always making these edgy jokes about women, about politics. One night, they came over to watch UFC fights, and I sat there watching them yell at the TV, watching grown men beat each other bloody while Marcus shouted, "Mess him up!" After they left, I approached it gently. Hey, so, the UFC thing, do you ever think about how that's basically just violence porn? Like, we live in a culture that's so desensitized to, it's just fights, babe, it's a sport. But it glorifies toxic masculinity. You're literally watching men prove dominance through physical violence. He rubbed his face. I've been watching UFC with Marcus since college. It's just fun? Fun for who, though? Women who've experienced violence see that and feel unsafe. He was quiet for a while. I didn't think about it like that. I know you didn't. That's why I'm telling you. The next time Marcus invited him to a fight night, Jake declined. Then again. Eventually, Marcus stopped asking. There were other things. Jake went to the gym 5 times a week, had this whole routine. I'd watch him check himself out in the mirror before we left the apartment, adjusting his shirt. You know, gym culture is super toxic, right? I said one morning. He paused mid-protein shake. What? Like the whole obsession with muscles and size, it's very misogynistic and also deeply insecure. You're already attractive. Why are you feeding into that? I just like working out. It helps my mental health. Or maybe you're avoiding real emotional work by channeling everything into vanity. He went less after that. Then barely at all. I noticed him getting softer around the middle, but honestly, I preferred it. He looked more approachable, less intimidating. Our sex life got weird around month 10. It had been great initially, enthusiastic, fun, frequent. Then I started noticing things. The way he'd position me, certain things he'd try. It felt very male-gazy. "Are you sure you're present right now?" I asked one night, mid-sex. He froze. "What?" "Like emotionally present. It feels performative." His face did something complicated. We finished, barely, and he didn't initiate again for 2 weeks. When I asked about it, he mumbled something about performance anxiety. I sent him articles about enthusiastic consent, about how porn conditions men to view women as objects, about being present during intimacy. He read them. I could tell because he got even more anxious in bed, constantly checking in. "Is this okay? What about this?" Until sex felt like a negotiation. We went from 3 times a week to maybe twice a month. But I told myself this was growth. Uncomfortable, but necessary. I started sending him more reading materials, articles about emotional labor, the mental load, male fragility, weaponized incompetence. His phone would buzz, another link, and I'd see this tiny flinch. "Did you read the one about heteronormative relationship dynamics?" I'd ask. I skimmed it. "Jake, I'm trying to help you grow. The least you can do is engage." He started reading every single one, tried to discuss them, but when he'd disagree with a point, I'd shut it down. That's literally fragility talking. You're getting defensive instead of listening. He stopped disagreeing. Around month 14, we had the money conversation. I'd been thinking about it for a while. Relationship equity, fair distribution of resources. So I was reading about financial dynamics in partnerships, I said over dinner. And basically, the higher earner should contribute proportionally, not just to shared expenses, but to the other partner's growth and well-being. Jake looked up from his pasta. "We already split rent 50-50. "Right, but you make about $15,000 more than me annually, which means you should be contributing an additional 15% monthly to compensate for the invisible labor I do. Emotional support, household management, helping you improve as a person." He just stared at me. "It's about equity, Jake. I'm doing the work to make this relationship healthy. That has value." He set down his fork. I'm not sure I understand. You want me to just give you money? Every month?" "See, this is exactly the problem." I felt my chest tighten. "You're framing it as giving me money like it's charity. This is compensation for labor you'll benefit from, but don't see." "But what labor?" "We both clean, we both—" "Emotional labor, Jake. Do you know how exhausting it is to constantly educate you? To send you articles you don't read? To manage your growth as a person? I'm literally doing therapist-level work here." "I didn't ask you to—" "Oh, so now you're saying you don't want to grow? That you're fine staying stagnant and problematic?" "That's not what I said. This is gaslighting. You're literally gaslighting me right now by questioning my needs. I'm telling you what I need to feel valued in this relationship, and you're making me defend it like I'm being unreasonable." His face did something complicated. Hurt, confusion, exhaustion, all at once. "Do you even respect me?" I pressed. "Because right now it feels like you think my emotional labor is worthless." "I don't think that." "Then prove it." He was quiet for a long time, then nodded. Okay. You're right. I'm sorry." He agreed. I don't know if he believed it or if he was just tired. But the next week, a Venmo notification came through. $900. Memo. March, partnership equity. I told myself this was what evolved relationships looked like. By month 16, Jake was different, quieter. His friend group had essentially dissolved. Marcus maybe texted once a month, Dev's wife had a baby, and Jake visited once, alone, after I mentioned. Dev made a transphobic comment about pronouns. He stopped going to the gym entirely after I kept telling him to, gained maybe 20 pounds, looked tired all the time. I think you might be depressed, I told him. Patriarchy doesn't let men process emotions properly. You should see someone. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. I found him a therapist. Woman, specialized in deconstructing masculinity and emotional availability. He started going weekly. When I asked what they discussed, he said it was private. That stung. I'd done the work to get him there, but I respected boundaries. Our apartment felt different, heavier. Jake would come home from work, barely speak, heat up leftovers, sit on his laptop. When I tried to engage him about his day or share articles, he'd give me these one-word answers. You're being distant, I said. I'm tired, Astrid. Tired of what? Just tired. The explosion came in month 18. Jake's brother Tom was getting married in Montana. Tom called, asking if Jake could come up early for bachelor party weekend. Fishing, poker, brother time. Jake mentioned it casually while doing dishes. Tom wants me there Thursday through Sunday. I felt my chest tighten. A whole weekend? Without me? It's a bachelor party thing. It feels like you're avoiding emotional intimacy with me by running to male-only spaces where you don't have to be vulnerable. His hand stopped moving in the soapy water. It's my brother's wedding, Astrid. So you're choosing toxic masculinity rituals over our relationship? Toxic masculinity. His voice was loud, rare for him. I'm going fishing with my brother. Don't yell at me. I'll yell because you're being insane. He threw the sponge in the sink. Water splashed. You know what? You know what? This is the last time I deal with women. I swear to God, every single relationship. He turned to face me fully, and his face was red, eyes wet. Amy cheated on me and told me it was my fault for being boring. Vanessa called me stupid for 2 years, and now you've spent 18 months telling me everything about me is wrong. My friends are toxic, my hobbies are problematic, my body's wrong. The way I make love is wrong. The way I think is wrong. Jake, my guy friends, Marcus, Dev, Tom, they actually like me. We hang out and there's no articles, no tests, no hidden meanings. But you? All of you women. It's like nothing I do is ever right. I could be perfect and you'd find something to fix. This is literally male rage. I'm done. He grabbed his keys and wallet, shoved things in a backpack. Where are you going? Marcus's place. I can't be here right now. The door slammed. I stood in the kitchen, shaking. Then I did what any rational person would do. I posted on Instagram, when you realize you've been doing all the emotional labor and he can't handle accountability. Riley and Simone liked it within minutes. Jake didn't come home that night, or the next. On day 3, I texted, "We need to talk." His response came 6 hours later. "I'll be back tomorrow." He returned on day 4, different, calm, eerily calm. I talked to Marcus, he said, sitting on the couch, not looking at me, and development, and my therapist, about everything. Okay? I've been living for other people's expectations my whole life, trying to be what my parents wanted, what my exes wanted, what you want, and I'm exhausted. Jake, I just want you to be the best version of... I need space. In the relationship. Time to work on myself without input. It wasn't a breakup, but it felt like the beginning of one. Over the next month, Jake changed. New haircut, actual fade, styled with product. Bought new clothes. Marcus took him shopping apparently. Started wearing cologne. He joined a climbing gym, came home with chalk dust on his hands and actual energy in his voice when I asked about it. He smiled at his phone a lot. Went out more. Just meeting friends. And came back late. My gut knew. Another woman. He was dressing better, smiling more, distant with me. Classic signs. One night while he was in the shower, his phone lit up on the bathroom counter. I'd never been that girlfriend, but something possessed me. I unlocked it, I knew his passcode, and opened his messages. Chris. Had so much fun climbing today. Jake. Dude, you absolutely destroyed that V4. Chris. Bro, you're so much better at bouldering than you think. Jake. Same time Thursday? Coffee after? Chris. Can't wait. The heart emoji. My hands shook. I screenshotted everything, sent them to myself, deleted the evidence. Chris. A woman's name, or gender neutral. I needed to know. I found Chris on Instagram, Jake's recent follows. The profile was private, but the tiny profile picture showed someone with short hair. I requested to follow. The water shut off. I put his phone back, exactly where it was. That night, lying beside him in bed, I stared at the ceiling, planning my confrontation, convinced my boyfriend was cheating on me with some rock-climbing, pixie-cut girl named Chris. I lasted 2 more days before I broke. Jake came home from climbing on Wednesday night, and I was sitting in the living room, lights off, phone glowing with screenshots. Who's Chris? He stopped in the doorway, went pale. What? Chris. Who is she? How long have you been sleeping with her? I held up my phone, showing the screenshots. Jake looked at the images, then at me. Then, he laughed. Not a happy laugh, a bitter, exhausted, almost manic laugh. You went through my phone? Don't deflect. Who is she? He dropped his gym bag, sat on the couch opposite me, put his head in his hands for a long moment, then looked up. You really want to know? Obviously. He pulled out his own phone, opened Instagram, found a profile, and handed it to me. I looked at the screen. Chris was a man. Handsome, late 20s, beard, photos of him at climbing gyms and breweries, rainbow flag in the bio. My brain stuttered. What? Chris is a guy. We met at the climbing gym 6 weeks ago. Okay, so you have a guy friend. Why all the secrecy? The heart emojis? Jake took a deep breath, let it out slow. Because he's not just a friend. Silence. What does that mean? It means I've been seeing him. Romantically, the word sat between us like something alive. I couldn't finish. Gay? Maybe bi. Still figuring it out. His voice was steady. Matter of fact. That's not... You can't just... We had sex. You were attracted to me? Were we having sex? Or were we having scheduled performances where you critiqued every move until I was too anxious to even try? I flinched. Jake leaned forward, elbows on knees. That night I stayed at Marcus's. I had a complete breakdown. Told him I felt like I was suffocating, walking on eggshells, that nothing I did was ever right. Jake? Marcus said, and I quote, Dude, screw it. Date men. We're way easier. No drama, no hidden tests. Everyone laughed, but something clicked. He looked at me directly now, eyes clear. I started thinking, every relationship I've had with a woman has been exhausting. Different reasons, Amy's cheating, Vanessa's cruelty, your corrections. But same outcome. I always feel wrong. But my friendships with guys? Easy, natural. I feel like myself. So you brought it up in therapy, I said quietly. Yeah. Dr. Wilson asked if I'd ever considered I might not be straight. I thought it was ridiculous at first. Then I actually sat with it. He explained the rest, joining the climbing gym to clear his head. Meeting Chris, kind, funny, openly gay, confident. They started talking. Coffee after climbing became regular. Then drinks. Then Chris said something flirty, and Jake didn't shut it down. We kissed 3 weeks ago, Jake said, and it felt right. More right than anything has felt in years. I was crying now, ugly crying. So what? You're just gay now? Just like that? Maybe I always was and didn't let myself see it. Maybe you spent 2 years telling me everything about being a man was wrong, and I figured I'd stop trying to be one. At least the kind women want. The room spun. You took my money, Astrid. $900 a month for emotional labor. You isolated me from my friends, made me hate my body, turned sex into something I dreaded. And for what? So you could feel like you were fixing me? I was trying to help you grow. Chris doesn't do that. His voice was soft now, not angry, sad. He just likes me. The actual me. We watch UFC together. He thinks it's hot that I want to lift again. We have sex, and he doesn't stop halfway through to ask if I'm emotionally present. He stood up, went to the bedroom, started packing a duffel bag. You're leaving? Chris has a 2-bedroom. I'm staying there while I find my own place. You're leaving me for a man. He stopped at the door, turned back. No, I'm leaving because you're exhausting. Chris is just proof it doesn't have to be this hard. One more thing, at the threshold. Thanks for deconstructing masculinity for me, babe. Really grew a lot. Then he was gone. I called Riley first, sobbing. Told her everything. Jake left me. He's gay now. He's with a man. Oh my God, she said. Long pause. Asked, can I be real with you? Please. You were kind of really mean to him. Like we all noticed. My breath caught. Mean? I was helping him grow. You made him give you money every month, Astrid. You shit-talked his friends until they stopped coming around. It was honestly hard to watch. That's not... I was setting boundaries. Girl. Her voice was firm now. He looked miserable for a year. I'm sorry you're hurt, but maybe this is for the best. I tried Simone next. She was somehow worse. Honestly? Good for Jake. He seems way happier. The group chat went silent when I vented there. One person sent a face with rolling eyes emoji. That was it. 2 weeks later, I ran into Marcus at a Safeway. I tried to walk past, but he called out, Astrid, yo. I turned. He had his cart, looking uncomfortable, but not backing down. Look, I know it's weird, but Jake's doing really good. I didn't ask. Yeah, I know, but I'm gonna say it anyway. He crossed his arms. That dude was my best friend for 10 years. Watched him go through Amy's bullshit, Vanessa's bullshit. But what you did? That was different. Excuse me? You made him feel like shit for existing, for having friends, for working out, for watching sports. You nickel and dimed him for $900 a month because you decided your feelings were labor. You don't understand the dynamics? Nah, I understand fine. You wanted a project, not a partner, and when he finally couldn't take it anymore, he bailed so hard he literally switched teams. Marcus laughed, shaking his head. Chris is a good dude, by the way. Doesn't make Jake feel like he's got to apologize for breathing. Are you done? Yeah, just wanted you to know. He chose Dick over dealing with you, and honestly, can't blame him. He walked away, leaving me frozen in the produce section. I started seeing Jake's Instagram updates through mutual friends who still followed him. Him at a sports bar with Marcus, Dev, and Chris, arms around each other. Jake smiling genuinely for the first time in forever. Next post, Jake and Chris at a climbing gym. He'd gained back the weight, looked solid and healthy. Riley had liked it, commented, "So happy for you." Rainbow Pride parade photos. Brunch with friends. Them moving into a new apartment together. Everyone was celebrating him. No one was checking on me. My therapist when I finally went back. Can we talk about your role in the relationship's dynamic? I was trying to help him become better. Better by whose definition? By any objective standard. He had toxic friends, unhealthy habits. Did Jake ask for your help with those things? Silence. Astrid, sometimes we can be so focused on changing someone that we forget to accept them. The financial arrangement, the critiques of his body, his interests. Can you see how he might have felt controlled? So everyone thinks I'm the villain. I think you're someone who needs to examine why you needed him to change so fundamentally. I sat in my apartment that night, scrolling through photos of Jake, looking happier than I'd ever seen him, arm around Chris at some party, wearing a rainbow flag like a cape, grinning. The worst part wasn't that he left. It wasn't even that he left for a man. It was that everyone who knew us, Riley, Simone, Marcus, even strangers on the internet when my vague post got screenshotted and mocked, everyone looked at what happened and reached the same conclusion. They would have chosen Dick over dealing with me too.